Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pseudo Short 7 for April 14th. I am your guest host, Josh Haddix, and joining me today is Josh Kiser.
Feel free to reach out on our poll.
Wait, what was that, Kiser?
Feel free to reach out on our poll.
Oh, Kiser, dude, that was just not cool, bro. Not cool. Oh. Also joining me, Kyle Hoagland.
Who has I have a little bit more sense than Kiser.
Feel free to reach out on our poll.
Thank God somebody does.
God damn it, Kiser.
Well, if you didn't get it from that clip, Kiser is actually not
Feel
joining
free
us
to
this
reach
week.
out on our poll.
That is him making a very inappropriate comment in a previous podcast.
I mean, it wasn't inappropriate to his. It was just something that I easily could take out of context because I'm a 4-year-old.
Feel free to reach out on our poll.
This week, like all other pseudo shorts, we're going to keep it brief for you. And Hougie and I, since we've been playing World of Warcraft for many years. Hougie, how many years have you been playing now?
If there was a 12 or 13 year statue, I would get it.
You'd get it. Yes. And endless. So Hougie and I are going to review the big patch that just came out previously in World of Warcraft Legion. It was patch 7.2, titled Tomb of Sargeras, or Sargeras, if you will. Right,
Sargeras.
Hougie?
It's Sargeras.
I know. Real quick, for those of you who, want to play the game or haven't heard anything yet, we will be talking about it. So if you don't want part of it ruined or you don't want spoilers, then don't listen, because we will be talking.
I feel like if you're playing this game, you're getting the content as quick as we are.
Yeah. Just in case.
There's not a whole lot of spoilers in this. Yeah.
So real quick, this is the second big patch. It was released March 28th last month. Basically, at the end of the last raid, we defeated Gul'dan and freed Illidan.
I'm about to say we're not even like 3 minutes into this, and you're already like not knowing.
We figured I don't know what I was thinking, but we freed him from his little like tomb cage, whatever thing, and now we are assaulting the broken shore to eventually go into the Tomb of Sargeras, which is not out yet. It's in game. It just is gated, and you can't get into it yet. So we really won't spend much time on that. But that will be the end raid for this patch, and the last boss is Kill Jaden. Hopefully, we actually kill him this time. So with just that, Hougie, no details on anything else, but with just that, how do you feel about this patch so far? Do you like it? Have you liked it? Do you think the storyline's good? What are your feelings?
I like that they finally put a voice to Sargeras. That was cool. That's something that they haven't done yet, I wasn't like anything like groundbreaking. He basically just sounded like a bad guy with a deep voice.
So real quick, Hougie is referring to a cinematic that came out where Kill Jaden is talking to Sargeras. Here's my question, though. Do you think there's any way that Blizzard is messing with us and that's not actually Sargeras? Because he never says Sargeras in it. I think we're all just assuming.
I feel like it has to be because he's talking about how he paid for it with his planet, and that the guy he was talking to seemed like a higher up. Now, there is nobody higher up than the Eridars than Kill Jaden and Archimonde, other than, as far as I'm concerned, Sargeras. So
yeah, I'm with you.
I feel like that has to be him, because he even talks to him kind of condescendingly, like, maybe I should have put my faith in you, that type of thing. Like, I think that was legitimately that is the fallen titan that is Sargeras.
Yeah, and I think it is as well. I was just kind of curious. So do you think we actually kill Jaden, if you will?
Do we slay Kill Jaden
like we did Archimonde in the last expansion?
I feel like it's time. I think it's time for Kill Jaden to go. We've already beaten him once. He was sucked through the Sunwell or whatever. It was the Sunwell, right? So we.
You don't remember the Sunwell?
I was a Blood Elf for many years. The first rule of Sunwell Club is you don't forget about the Sunwell. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's time for Kill Jaden to drop. So that will leave. But here's the thing. Here's what I'm real curious about is if Kill Jaden does get killed. So now we're talking all the lieutenants are dead. Now, it doesn't mean Oh, they're Eridar. They're not really. I don't know if they're considered demons.
Well,
demons can come back. They can be resummoned. So I'm trying to figure out if that rule applies to them. But not if they
die. Not if they die in what's their world? Argus, right? They die in Argus. They die, or if they die in the Twisting Nether, they die for good, right?
Right. Yeah. Their soul goes back. Well, their soul goes back to the Twisting Nether, and then they're summoned later. Yeah. So I believe if you die in the Twisting Nether, you have nowhere to go.
You die for good.
You die for good.
Yeah. So maybe that kind of points to maybe something happens during that encounter and all that. But anyway, we could talk about that later because again, that's not really out yet. So nobody really knows what's going on there. The big thing about this patch, at least the big thing so far, because it's only been out for a few weeks now, is we're assaulting. I'm like having trouble saying that.
We're
assaulting the Broken Shore. And when the patch came out, you got a quest, you fly over there, you do a couple things, and you end up opening a bunch of world quests on the actual Broken Shore. There's a bunch of elite bosses running around, treasures you can pick up. There's a demon command ship called the Centenax that flies around, and if you kill demons underneath it, you get some currency, rep, things like that.
Or you get ruffle stomped by the Horde that are also
or
there.
That's true. Or if you're on a PvP server like us. And speaking of the Horde, there are buildings that you construct with these shards that you get, and they give you different benefits depending on which one you make. Only one can be up at a time, and then after a little while, the Legion destroys it, and you have to build it back up. And that's actually cross-faction and region-wide. So they kind of, built in a little, everyone working together type of deal.
I feel like this place is like it's a combination of the Encourage war effort and the Tanan jungle.
Yep, I agree. I would agree with that. It's like you're especially for us because we're on a PvP server, you're technically working together to kill the Legion, but every time you go do something, Horde are killing you, you're killing Horde, all that kind of stuff. So with that, Hougie, with the Broken Shore that we've seen so far, are you impressed, or you think it's a little same thing, different zone?
I mean, I was excited until as I started going through things, I was like, this is kind of Tanan Jungle 2.0, which I had no problem with the Tanan Jungle. I think the problem was Tanan Jungle was forever, and there was not much after with it. Yeah, so, and just imagine if Tanan Jungle came out when we wanted it to. Instead, we got the selfie camera patch. So we would have had that much time with Tanan Jungle. Hopefully, they would have had something afterwards, but in this case, they didn't. So I guess my whole thing about this is, and I'm also going to preface this by saying that I really haven't played a lot of the patch. I really haven't been home that much. When I've been home, I've been playing some tennis. I've been doing the streams, so I really haven't had a chance to really play a whole lot of WoW since coming back from WrestleMania. But I have played enough in order to unlock the shore, unlock the new traits for your artifact weapon, and then, like I said, doing like the first couple of actual, I guess, what you consider progression quests on the shore. But the moment I started seeing like the treasure, like kind of the treasure chest you can go get, and then there's like 4 or 5 world bosses that are out there, it did kind of like it like meshed together, like we already said, it's like Tanan Jungle, Timeless Isle, and then the Encourage war effort, kind of all in one, which are all 3 were fresh ideas and I liked. Not saying that they phoned this in. I'm sure there's going to be plenty to do. I just hope that they add. There's more. They're keep adding onto it.
Yeah, it's kind of recycled. And even to your point, there is the catch-up gear, like the Timeless Isle mechanic.
The mustard gear?
You can. Yeah, exactly. There you go. The mustard mayonnaise gear. So you're right. It does seem a little recycled. And I agree with you. I kind of hope as maybe the raid comes out, something shift. But moving on, there have been a couple slight changes. I'll just run through these real fast. Feel free to chime in if you have anything to add to these. But they changed tab targeting or set it back to how it used to be.
Yeah, so they reverted it back to the way it was. Yeah.
There's a few UI updates, some class changes. I don't think anything real big. some dungeon and mythic keystone changes. I think they increased the minimum item level in dungeons and in mythic keystones. They added a couple of new affixes. But at the same time,
they also made them more difficult. Like I think now Mythic 5 is like 15 now or something, or either they overtuned it where it felt like that.
I think they increased the difficulty a little bit. Yeah. They also made a couple PvP changes, slight changes. And again, if you want more detail on any of this stuff we're talking about, there's patch notes everywhere. World of Warcraft has it. I mean, Wowhead, MMO Champion. You can go there and read these in detail. None of the class changes were huge. Some patches in this expansion, there have been overhauls. Nothing was too crazy in this patch itself. So you have anything to say about any of that, Hoagie?
I mean, as far as I know that my I used LVY and it was definitely broken the shit out of the first couple of days of the patch, which I assume is because of the UI changes they just did overall. It almost made me think like, maybe I'll try messing with the original UI and see if it's done things that I like. But I think that they've since, LVY is caught up now. So I mean, I
had a bunch of add-ons blow up as well. Yeah. So, here's a couple new things for 7.2, other than the whole broken shore thing that we talked about. They did add a new dungeon. Which I always enjoy when they add dungeons like they did in Ice Crown or in Wrath of the Lich King. It's the Cathedral of the Light. It's available in Heroic, Mythic, and Mythic Plus.
The Cathedral of Eternal Light.
I'm sorry, Cathedral of Eternal Light. I actually personally have not been in there yet. Have you, Hoagie?
I have. I didn't even know. Look, here's how dumb I am. Pardon me. Sorry. I didn't even know there was a new dungeon. That when I was reading the rundown and you were like new dungeon, I'm like, no shit. Well,
you actually get a quest to go in there. So
I must not have gotten that quest yet, or else I
doesn't lead anywhere. It's not a chain. It literally just, I think, is to send you in there. But I don't think this does much. I think the last boss is Mephisto, or however you pronounce that.
Where is it? Where is it actually located?
That is a good question. Somewhere on the broke. Oh, you know what? It's kind of like part of the raid. It's like the upper part of the raid. Obviously, you don't go in there when you go in the raid, but I think it's kind of like the same. It's part of the tomb, if you will. So it's over there in that area. I think it's kind of like the dungeons in Ice Crown, how they're separate entrances, but it's all Ice Crown type of deal.
I gotcha.
One of those gigs. So the big thing, which I'm excited for, although it's not completely unlocked yet, is the continuation of the class campaigns. You will eventually get a new class follower, which I think you can get today. I think the patch that came out today, we're recording this on Tuesday, allowed you to get your class follower if you're to that point in the quest chain and all that. There will be class-specific world quest. I have not personally gotten any of these. I don't know if they're gated or what. Maybe it's with a new follower. And the big thing is after you get through this class quest and you get exalted with Legion Fall, which is the new reputation on the Broken Shore.
Because you always need a new reputation to grind.
Yeah, they always do that, yeah. And if after you do all that, you will receive a epic class mount. Mine, because I'm a Shadow Priest, is a pretty cool looking bird. What's yours, Hoagie?
If I remember correctly, it's a green horse.
Yeah, another horse.
Another Dreadsteed. But here's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what it is? It's almost, it looks better. The textures are better. But it reminds me of like if someone took like the Headless Horseman mount and then redid it and reskinned it to make it look a little more, I guess, current, updated with the new current like textures. But I'm still going to get it. But I don't know how much I'm going to show it off.
Well, yeah. And I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's a cool idea. Some of them... Again, if you go to MMO Champion and all that, you can see all the different class mounts. And I actually think they're a different color depending on the spec you are. So all Warlocks have the same mount, but I think it's a different color. I know my mount is like purple since I'm a Shadow Priest. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a cool little way to kind of, set you apart from just everybody else. And I've really enjoyed the class campaigns in this expansion. Do you have any feelings about that?
I feel like... I think there's only two colors for mine. It's either purple or red, which is kind of a bummer. I kind of wanted to have like a green, even though I kind of have a green horse. But unless, I'm curious, I wonder if the purple version becomes green if you get the. You remember the green fire quest unlocked?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting as well. Or not the purple one. The red one would then become green. Instead.
Yeah, because fire to green. Yeah. I'm with you. That's a good question. Maybe one day you'll actually find out if you actually end up playing. So,
well,
another
as soon as we get done recording, I'm going to jump in probably.
Another thing that was added was demon assaults, and these didn't come out right away, so everyone was kind of curious of what they were going to do. And it's kind of similar to the invasions or assaults that were happening before the expansion hit.
You know what? I was going to ask about that too, because I kept on saying in each of the areas that there was one going on, but there was nothing actually there.
So the difference is before in the old world zone, so in Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor, you would go to a certain area in a region, and you would kill a bunch of guys. There'd be a meter that would fill up. So it's not like that at all. It's similar to that in the fact that you go kill these Legion people. But so if it's in Asuna, these are all in Broken Isles, by the way. They're not in the old world at all. So in the Broken Isles, in the 4 zones, there's none in Suramar, none on the Broken Shore. So let's say it's in Asuna, you go there. All the world quest in that zone will have like a little green Legion marker on it. And you got to do 4 of them to kind of continue the quest. And really the only reason to keep doing them as they happen is you get nether shards, which are a currency now, and you do get some reputation with Legion Fall, which is the new reputation grind. A little lackluster. I thought they were going to be a little bit cooler than they were. After you do it the first time, there's a little quest chain, and it kind of gives you a story for that zone. And after that, it's just basically doing world quest. They're just for an invasion instead. So
I think that's just a mechanic. I feel like it's a mechanic to keep people continuing to do the world quests in the old areas, right?
And that could be it. And that could be it. But on that topic, let me jump to this. I thought this was pretty cool, which they've never done in any expansion. You and I have been playing this game since it came out, so all the old factions were exalted with already.
Right.
No point to get any rep with those factions at all. They actually implemented this thing now where I think it's if you get up to 1,000 maybe. I can't remember exactly the number. But if you hit exalted, you can keep earning rep. Obviously, you don't go anywhere past exalted, but when your bar fills back up, you actually get a cash. And it could just have random stuff in it. And there's a small chance that you can get a faction mount for that particular faction, which I think is kind of cool.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Do you know how that works? Like, if I'm full up on like all these things,
if you go to your reputation tab, you'll see it on there. You'll see that you're exalted, but then there's another like bar that you have to fill up. And as soon as you fill it up, I don't know if you turn it into somebody or if it just pops in your bag or what. But you get a little cash in your bag. So basically, again, encourages you to do the world quest, even though you don't need to. You don't need world quest. You don't need reputation, anything like that. It gives you a reason to do.
Is this for every reputation, or is this just for
just the 4 in this expansion?
I was like Steam Weedle.
No, just these 4. Just these 4.
Okay.
Again, I think promotes you to do world quest, even though you don't have to. So
gotcha.
Like every other expansion, they unlocked flying mounts now. As soon as you get, they actually ended up taking off a couple stipulations. Now all you have to do is get revered with the new faction Legion Fall, and along with Broken Isles Pathfinder Part 1, which if you've been playing the game since it came out, you already have it. I think it's like doing all the quests and all the zones and exploring all the zones and all that kind of stuff. I'm
only going to assume that I just need to get revered. If I feel like I had to have everything else.
Yeah, I would be almost 100% sure that's all you got to do. So as soon as you get revered, you're able to fly in the Broken Shores, which they've been doing that in every expansion. Where do you stand on flying mounts? Do you like flying mounts? Do you wish they were earlier? Do you wish they never existed? What do you think?
I mean, I'll take them because they're there. I feel like flying mounts are, or were ultimately the downfall of this game, though. I do. I feel like if we just stayed on the ground and just had just flight masters, because it kills. Honestly, it does. It kills PvP. The moment that we're all going to be able to fly around is the moment where world PvP dies again. And I really do mean that. Like, there's a difference between everyone just being on the ground and coming at each other from those angles. But the moment that you're flying from up top and like dive bombing on somebody, like that's when you create an insane advantage in world PvP. If it were up to me, if I had known 13 years later, 12 years later, whatever it is now, that flying mounts were the way they are now, I probably would have never. If I was a developer, I would have just stuck with flight paths and just had ground mounts. To be completely honest,
you gotta admit though, and I agree with you on that. But if you're grinding something towards the end of an expansion, or the previous expansion, like if you went back to Draenor and had to farm herbs or something, it just makes it so much easier.
Oh, sure. But once again, we say that now because we're used to that luxury. Before, you had to go out and kind of run around and look for it and kind of compete with other people trying to get herbs, even though now I think all spawns now are dynamic. So like if somebody picks an herb, you can still pick that herb. Like that doesn't stop you from picking or getting ore deposits or something. But like I said, it's a great advantage to have, and it's a cool luxury. I think this game would be much better off. I think we have a much better community. I think the game overall, quality wise, would be better if we went back to exploring the world again and not just flying over it.
I'll give you that. I think it'd be hard to go back now, but
absolutely, you're not going to go back. But I'm just saying that's one of those decisions that you can't turn back.
Yeah. So another thing, PvP brawls.
Are you a brawler yet? Did you ever finish that?
No, I did not.
Then you shouldn't be allowed to be in it. You should be disqualified. If it's a brawl, you should be a brawler. Personally,
I see what you're doing there. But for those of you who get mixed up with the brawler and brawls, it has nothing to do with the Brawlers Guild. This is basically your popular battlegrounds, but with twists to them. Either the rules are changed, the scenes change. Like for instance, Arathi Basin is covered in snow. It's kind of like a Alterac Valley / Arathi Basin. Everything's white, and it's kind of like foggy, kind of one of those types of deals. Other than that, rules are the exact same, just kind of a different change of pace type of deal. Just makes it, I think, just kind of switches it up for the PvPers out there instead that have been doing the same thing all the time. So, and other than that, they added a pet battle dungeon, which I have not done yet. I'm kind of curious about it, but I'm assuming you go into a dungeon with your pets. I have no idea.
That's kind of interesting. I mean, I have enough 25s that I can go in there probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to run through these updated features real quick. Afterwards, Hoagie, chime in with how you feel about any of them. There's kind of been 4 big ones. Character empowerment. You alluded to it earlier. They increased the amount of traits you have. They either added to some of the old traits or created some new ones. And then your artifact knowledge can now go to 50 instead of 25. And artifact knowledge is how fast you gain or how much you gain your artifact power. They added a new sets tab in the transmogrification, which is kind of cool, where it keeps track of your actual tier and PvP sets for you, which is kind of nice.
It actually kind of makes me want to go back and get all the stuff again.
Exactly.
Because now I know what I'm missing.
Yeah, and it actually will it'll be green if you have them all, yellow if you almost have them all, that kind of deal. They've kind of been implementing this in the whole expansion, but they added some class combat updates, class animations, class sounds, some spell effects, kind of updating them with the new graphics. And they added a bunch of profession changes, which I'm not going to go into right now. Like I said, if you care, you can look it up on
I'm laughing because you're clicking through the rundown on paper, and I keep seeing the little arrow go everywhere all over the
can you see it?
Yeah, absolutely.
The big thing, and I won't go into it, is because I don't know much about it because I haven't personally done it. You can actually craft legendaries now. I don't know how good they are. I don't know if they're going to be best in slot. I do know they have a lot of prismatic sockets on them, which is huge in this expansion.
Now they said that these are new legendaries, or is it just the same legendaries that you can now craft?
They are new craftable legendaries, and I think the equip features aren't as good. But like I said, there are like 2 or 3 prismatic sockets, so you can kind of tweak it to your spec if you're mastery heavy, haste heavy, that kind of deal. So I don't know where they stand per class in the best in slot list. You know, I don't know if somebody's really kind of gone through and done that theory crafting yet.
How do you get the materials to like craft?
I think it's part of one of the buildings that you make on the Broken Shore, and then you got to buy some crafting materials with nether shards. That whole kind of deal. They're not real easy to craft, but they're not hard. There's already a few up on the auction house actually because they're BOE.
I would say they have to be BOE. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Do you have anything to add to any of that, or anything that we've talked about at all, Hoagie? Well, I'm looking forward to the new. God damn, this cough is killing me. I'm looking forward to the new raid, obviously, when the LFR obviously comes out, and then in case our guild decides to get online and play this again. I feel like our guild's good enough to beat it once, and then everybody scatters again.
Yeah.
But then also the dungeon, that looks kind of cool. I said I'm more of a PvE person, but I will say the brawls intrigue me because I don't know if that's like a deathmatch type of thing, or there's actually like stipulations or you know, goals you have to reach, or you know what I mean.
Well, I think it varies. I think that's the difference. That's kind of the point as you go into it, and it could be a typical battleground, but just new rules. So it kind of just depends. And I think they're going to add more as time goes on. So,
right, like I said, it's a step in the right direction. I'm very curious as if this is the end of this expansion, or if there's going to be a 7.3 with even more, or if this is like as soon as this, because once again, November is. I mean, it's not far away, but you know what I mean. It's 6 months away or whatever, but
that'd only be a year that the game's been out.
That's true. So, but once again, they have been kind of hinting that they're talking about doing these things yearly now. So
yeah, I mean that could be it. They could do another expansion.
I just feel like, what do you do after kill Jaden? What's there to what's?
Well, I mean, Sargeras is still out there, so I mean.
But I highly doubt if we kill him that there's going to be a whole lot. I feel like Sargeras, he's like Skeletor. He always has to be around, you know, like employing people. There's still Ashara at some point, I would assume, is going to show up. It's, you know, one day. Maybe she's the 7.3. I don't know. Yeah. But I would not be surprised, though, if they drop it on us that, hey, the next expansion is, you know, in December, and we're going to do this until December, and then we're done. And we go to the next expansion. I wouldn't be shocked. I would be surprised. I'd be very impressed if they were able to do this whole thing.
It would be out of the norm, but they have talked about it. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Right.
So we shall find out. All right. I think that kind of fills up our short here. Again, if you're curious about anything we talked about or want to know more details about anything, patch notes are available all over the internet.
Kiser, how do you feel about that?
Feel free to reach out on our poll.
You know what? I gave him one more chance to, you know,
inappropriate,
to be good
dude.
God.
Inappropriate. For what it's worth, well, you won't be able to watch him tomorrow because you won't hear this till Friday. But if any of this intrigues you, you can watch Hoagie streaming World of Warcraft on Wednesday nights at, I believe it's 7:30 your time. 9:30 our time?
6:30 my time. It's gonna vary a little bit this week because I have some things I have to take care of. I think either Wednesday or Thursday. I probably won't do both days.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. He also streams on a typical week, Thursday and Sunday, but not usually World of Warcraft. But still, check him out if you would like. And yeah, that should do it for our short. Tune in next week for our next full-length podcast, which will be the MLB preview, season preview. And until then, from Josh Haddix and Kyle Hoagland, have a good Friday.
You're so lame. See ya.